Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 423 days, Ukraine defends itself against the forces of the Russian invasion. According to the US Institute for the Study of War, Ukrainian forces have established positions in East, Left Bank, Kherson Oblast as of April 22nd, though it is not known at what scale or with what intentions, reports Ukrainska Pravda. The experts informed that Russian military bloggers have provided enough geolocated footage and textual reports to confirm that Ukrainian forces have maintained positions in East Bank, Kherson Oblast for weeks, establish stable supply lines to these positions, and regularly conduct sorties in the area, all indicating a lack of Russian control over the territory. The institute also believes that both the Russian Defense Ministry and Wagner Group are likely attempting to persuade Russian President Vladimir Putin to go over to the defensive ahead of a potential Ukrainian counteroffensive. Spain intends to hand over 6 of the 10 promised Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine in the coming days, reports Interfax Ukraine. Spanish Foreign Minister José Manuel Álvarez told the German edition Tagesschau that these tanks will be of A4 modification. In total, there are 347 Leopard tanks in Spain, of which 108 are the older A4 model and 239 are the newest A6, which in Spain is called E. So far, Spain does not want to transfer tanks of the A6 model to Ukraine due to the need for its own national defense, Tagesschau notes. Deputy Foreign Minister Andriy Melnik stated that Ukraine urgently needs to receive 10 times more military support than partners have provided so far in order to end the war this year, reports European Pravda. He called on Ukraine's partners to cross all artificial red lines and devote 1% of GDP to supply weapons to Ukraine. Melnik reminded that according to US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, the participants of the international coalition have provided Ukraine with $55 billion worth of support in total. That seems like a large number, but to contrast it with the Second World War, with which unfortunately more and more parallels can be drawn, over $50 billion worth of help was supplied under US Lend-Lease alone in the 40s. The equivalent today would be around $800 billion, the deputy minister assessed. We would really appreciate if you could give us a rating in the apps where you are listening to this podcast. This way more people would learn about the highlights from Ukraine and truth about Russia's invasion. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky informed in his evening video address that he signed 3 new decrees on sanctions against those who invest in and support Russian aggression. In particular, this is the Russian defense industry enterprises. This time, 322 companies were added to the sanctions lists. The other 2 sanctions lists include individuals and legal entities that help circumvent sanctions against Russia, keep the property of war criminals, and are involved in the destruction of freedom both on the territory of Russia itself and in Ukraine. The sanctions were imposed against 30 Russians, Iranians, and Ukrainians for 10 years and 8 citizens of Mali against whom sanctions have been imposed until 31st of August, reports Novinarnya. On the next sanctioned list are the Russian political parties, the Communist Party, Liberal Democratic Party, Socialist Party, United Russia, New People, and the Just Russia for Truth, as well as the Central Electoral Commission. Sanctions are imposed on all of them for 10 years. 124 people, including 6 children, have been killed by explosive devices in Ukraine since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion, reports Unian. According to the Defense Ministry, another 286 have been injured, 33 of them children. The highest numbers of deaths and injuries caused by Russian mines are observed in Kharkiv, Mykolaiv, and Kherson oblasts. In total, around 174,000 square kilometers of Ukrainian land and sea waters are considered to be potentially contaminated by explosive devices. The Highlights from Ukraine podcast is a commercial initiative of just 2 people, and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.